Imagine standing at the edge of history, knowing that the last breath you take will change the world forever. The enemy is overwhelming, the odds are impossible, and yet you charge forward, shield raised, heart beating with the fire of defiance. This is not just a battle, it is a final stand, a sacrifice etched in time. This is the story of the 300 Spartans, the warriors who defied death at the narrow pass of Thermopylae. But behind their courage lies a terrifying truth. They didn't march into battle to win, they marched to inspire. And in doing so, they would face a fate far darker than they could ever imagine. Stay with me because the terrifying last charge of the Spartans will shake you to the core. Chapter 1: The Persian Storm. In the year 480 BCE, the ancient world teeters on the brink of destruction. A storm is coming, but not of nature. It is the Persian Empire, led by the ambitious King Xerxes I, sweeping across the known world. His army, vast beyond imagination, seeks vengeance for his father's defeat at Marathon. Xerxes believes that with Greece crushed, his empire will rule forever. This army, said to stretch so far that its shadow darkens the sky, is unstoppable. The Persians are a terrifying force. Archers capable of blocking out the sun, war elephants, cavalry, and infantry numbering in the hundreds of thousands. They march westward, confident in their overwhelming might, seeking nothing less than the subjugation of all of Greece. But Greece will not fall without a fight. Among the fractured city-states of Greece, there is one name that stands above all others: Sparta. A land where the art of war is everything, and where every man is raised to be a warrior. In the heart of this warrior society is Leonidas, a king and a warrior unlike any other. Sparta is built on the principles of discipline, strength, and honor. From childhood, boys are taught the art of battle, pushed to their limits in the Agoj training system. It is a life of pain, sacrifice, and relentless ambition. By the time a Spartan man reaches adulthood, he is a weapon forged in blood, sweat, and unwavering dedication. When news of Xerxes' invasion reaches Leonidas, the Spartan king knows the battle ahead will be unlike any he's faced before. Xerxes' army is too large, too strong, and too relentless. Leonidas understands that victory may be impossible, but resistance is essential. This is the moment to send a message not just to Xerxes but to all of Greece. We will not bow. Leonidas, with a deep sense of duty, plans to make a stand at Thermopylae, a narrow mountain pass where the Persians' vast numbers would be neutralized. The geography of the pass offers a narrow choke point, where even a small force could delay an entire army. It's a desperate plan, but it is the only chance they have to resist. But Leonidas is not foolish. He knows Thermopylae will be a final stand. He also knows the Spartan warriors are the finest in the world. He can rely on their courage and discipline. But even so, the numbers of the Persians are enough to overwhelm them. In a desperate move, Leonidas sends word to the other Greek city-states, urging them to send aid. Some answer the call, Thebes, Thespi, and others, but they send only a fraction of the soldiers needed. At the end of the day, it is Leonidas and his 300 elite Spartans who will make the stand. These 300 are the best of the best, selected for their unwavering courage and their willingness to lay down their lives for Sparta. The march to Thermopylae begins. The 300 Spartans, their armor shining in the sun, are joined by a small contingent of allied forces. The air is thick with the understanding that none of them will return from this mission alive. Yet there is no fear. The Spartan warrior is taught to embrace death, not as an enemy but as an honor. As they march toward the pass, Leonidas speaks to his men, "We will not die in defeat. We will die in glory, and our death will become a beacon for all Greece." Their mission is clear: to delay the Persians long enough to inspire the rest of Greece to rally against the invasion. Leonidas knows that even if they cannot win, their sacrifice will light a spark of resistance that could save their world. But as the Spartans march on, the Persian army grows ever closer. The sheer size of it is staggering. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers, war machines, elephants, and cavalry, all under the command of the vengeful Xerxes. The ground shakes beneath the weight of their army, and the Persian forces begin to encircle the Greek position at Thermopylae. When the Spartans arrive, they are met by an overwhelming presence. Xerxes' forces are already in position, preparing for the onslaught. The fate of Greece will soon be decided in a place of tight corridors and brutal combat. But what will be the fate of Leonidas and his warriors? Will they be overwhelmed by the tide of Persian forces? Or will their sacrifice be enough to rally the rest of Greece to finally stand against the Persian Empire? Chapter 2: The Stand at Thermopylae. The first day of battle is brutal. The Persian archers unleash arrows that fill the air like a storm. Yet the Spartan shields hold strong and they press forward. The first wave of Persians crashes against the Spartan line, only to be repelled by the unyielding discipline of the warriors. The Persian forces struggle to break through the tight formation of the Spartans. The hoplite shield wall is unbroken, and the Persian numbers are made irrelevant by Spartan discipline and skill. For a moment, it seems as though the Persians are at a loss. Leonidas watches as his men fight with unparalleled skill, cutting down Persian soldiers with brutal efficiency. The battle is far from over, but the message is clear: the Spartans will not be broken. But even as the Spartans stand tall, fate has a different plan. The Persian army is relentless. On the second day of battle, the Persians are enraged. The overwhelming numbers that Xerxes once relied on are now proving ineffective against the sheer will and military precision of the Spartan warriors. For every Persian soldier that charges forward, 2 or 3 fall, their bodies littering the narrow pass. The Spartans, in their tight formation, remain a near impenetrable wall of iron and flesh. But the Persians are not like any enemy the Greeks have faced. They are relentless, and Xerxes has one crucial advantage: he controls the battlefield. His army is unmatched in size, and despite the setbacks, the sheer scale of the attack cannot be denied. Xerxes, standing behind his vast army, watches in disbelief. The battle is not going as planned. His elite soldiers, the Immortals, are being cut down by Spartan spears. His archers, whose arrows are said to darken the sky, cannot break the Spartan shield wall. His cavalry, though formidable, cannot maneuver effectively in the narrow confines of the pass. And so, Xerxes calls for a new tactic, one that will ultimately change the course of the battle. He turns to his naval superiority. In an attempt to surround the Greeks and force them into submission, Xerxes orders his navy to attack the Greek fleet. The Persian ships, powerful and numerous, block any escape route for the Greek navy. It's a calculated move that seeks to isolate the Spartans completely and force their surrender. Back at Thermopylae, Leonidas knows that time is running out. His 300 men continue to fight valiantly, but as each wave of Persian soldiers crashes against their shields, fatigue begins to set in. Leonidas himself feels the weight of the battle. His warriors are fighting for honor, but they are not invincible. The constant pressure, the relentless assault, these are starting to take their toll. Still, Leonidas remains unwavering. His resolve is unshaken by the growing numbers of the enemy. His men fight with the same discipline they've known since childhood. Every movement, every strike, is executed with precision. There is no panic, no retreat. The Spartans fight as if their very lives depend on the shield wall, because in truth they do. If one falls, they all fall. But as the day wears on, Leonidas begins to understand the brutal truth. Victory is not an option. The Greeks know they cannot win, but they can delay the Persians long enough to achieve something far more valuable: unity. If they can hold out just a few more days, the rest of Greece may rally to their cause. But the price of that unity is their lives. As the second day of battle draws to a close, there is a growing sense of desperation among the Spartan warriors. Each one knows that death is imminent, and yet they fight on. There is no turning back now. They have pledged to die in honor, and in honor they shall meet their end. But as night falls, the worst possible news reaches the Spartan camp: a betrayal. Chapter 3: The Final Stand. The traitor's name is Ephialtes, a Greek from Trachis, one of the local areas near Thermopylae. Driven by greed, fear, or perhaps a mixture of both, he offers Xerxes a way to bypass the Spartan defense. There is a mountain path, known only to a few, that winds around the cliffs of Thermopylae. It is an unguarded route, a secret only the locals know. Ephialtes tells Xerxes of this path, offering it in exchange for gold and promises of a place among the Persian ranks. Xerxes, eager to secure his victory, seizes the opportunity. In the dead of night, a detachment of Persian soldiers is sent to take the secret path, which will allow them to surround the Spartans from behind. At the break of dawn on the third day, as the Spartans prepare for yet another battle, they are unaware of the danger that looms behind them. The Persian soldiers, led by Ephialtes, are moving swiftly and silently, cutting through the mountain pass toward the rear of the Greek defenses. Leonidas, focused on the front lines, has no idea that his force is about to be trapped between the overwhelming Persian army in front and a fresh wave of Persian soldiers approaching from the rear. When the betrayal is discovered, Leonidas's heart sinks. The small force of 300 Spartans and their allies now find themselves in a dire position. The mountain path will allow the Persians to encircle the entire Spartan force. Their stand at Thermopylae will soon become a fight to the death, not for survival but for a final act of defiance. But even as the reality of defeat sets in, Leonidas does not falter. He gathers his men and with a solemn voice, he speaks the words that will echo throughout history. It is not death we fear, but that we will not have done enough. We fight not because we expect victory, but because we must. His men, their faces grim but resolute, prepare for the final charge. Their shields are raised once more, and they face the overwhelming tide of Persian forces, knowing full well that they will not leave the battlefield alive. The last charge of the Spartans at Thermopylae will not be one of victory, it will be one of honor. They will face impossible odds, surrounded on all sides with no hope of escape. But for the Spartan warriors, this is the culmination of a lifetime of training. Death is not feared, but embraced as a final act of defiance against a world that sought to crush their way of life. And so, the Battle of Thermopylae continues, not as a fight for survival, but as a sacrifice, one that will spark the flames of rebellion across Greece. With the Persian forces closing in, the final charge begins. The battle becomes a savage, desperate affair. The Spartans, outnumbered and trapped, fight with a ferocity that will be remembered for centuries. Their shields are broken, their spears shattered, but they do not yield. They are warriors, this is what they were born for. Leonidas, leading his men from the front, knows that his death is imminent. His body, along with the bodies of his comrades, will be left on the battlefield as a symbol of defiance. But it is in their sacrifice that the spark of resistance will ignite. The Greeks, seeing the fall of their greatest warriors, will rally to the cause. The final moments of the battle are chaotic, brutal, and heart-wrenching. The Spartans fight until their last breath, never once giving in to despair. Their shields are shattered, their bodies torn, but they fight with everything they have, making every step forward a defiance of the Persian Empire. And then, in the end, there is silence. The last of the 300 Spartans fall. The 300 Spartans fall, but their legacy will never die. The Persian forces move on, but the message of Thermopylae is clear: resistance is possible. The fall of the Spartans will ignite the fire of rebellion across all of Greece. Inspired by the bravery and sacrifice of Leonidas and his men, the Greeks rally together. Athens, Corinth, and the other city-states unite against the Persian threat. The victory at Salamis and the final crushing blow at Plataea will secure the freedom of Greece. The 300, their names may be forgotten by time, but their sacrifice will inspire generations to come. The story of their final charge becomes a symbol of hope, courage, and the unwavering belief that one can stand against tyranny, no matter the odds. Their death, tragic and horrifying, is not the end. It is the beginning of a new era. And in that final stand, the 300 become more than men, they become legends. If you were moved by this tale of bravery and honor, and want to discover more untold stories from history, stories that shape the world we live in, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Join us as we uncover more moments that echo through time, from battles to legends, from triumphs to tragedies. Don't forget to like and comment to share your thoughts. What did you think of the Spartan legacy? How did their courage shape the future? We want to hear from you. And as always, remember, history is never just about the past. It's a lesson for the present and a guide for the future. So, subscribe and journey with us through the untold stories of the ages.